Okay, what's up, guys? Welcome to the A through Z Beginners Boxing Fundamental Course, created by me. So, just a quick summary. This is a course that's great for somebody who's just getting started. If you're a beginner boxer and you haven't really quite internalized the boxing fundamentals, or if you're someone who's doing it for fitness reasons or self-defense reasons, it's really important that you guys understand the boxing fundamentals because it's going to set the way, it's going to set the tone on your boxing journey. So let's go ahead and get started. So number one, introduction to boxing. So boxing is more than just throwing punches. It's a sport that demands discipline, mental toughness, and physical conditioning. Whether you're training for fitness, self-defense, or competition, mastering the fundamentals lays the foundation for everything. So remember, put your ego aside when you're starting. Many techniques like your stance, your footwork, defense, punches are going to feel awkward from the start. However, with repetition, it'll become instinct, as natural as walking. So again, don't get discouraged if things feel weird and you try to do it your way. Trust me on this, don't do it your way, especially when you're starting. I'd recommend you just double down on the techniques and take your time with it, okay? Because this is going to be like a long journey, right? And this is once you develop this skill, it stays with you for the rest of your life. And you can even transfer it over to your loved ones or your child or whatever. Boxing is a part of your life from now on if you're here for the long run. So take your time. Okay, so let's start off with your boxing stance. A solid stance is your base. Without it, you're off balance and vulnerable. I cannot stress how important it is to get familiar with your fight stance. It is the base where everything stems from. You cannot blast cannons from a canoe. You need a strong ship to launch those bombs. Also, a bad stance could leave you off balance and leave you open for counters. So follow these steps and you're on your way to crafting a solid base. So I have an image here of a guy. This is kind of generally what your fight stance is going to look like. So quick run through. Feet shoulder width apart. Dominant foot slightly back. Knees slightly bent. Chin tucked. Hands up. Weight distributed evenly. So try to stay balanced, especially when you're starting. And also head off center line, right? You don't want to be head in the middle. You want to be a little bit off the line. So imagine you're aiming a rifle, looking down the scope. Head off center line, okay? Now, there's no single right way to distribute your weight, especially once you're more advanced. Some people prefer leaning forward more, like being more front foot dominant, and others more back, right? So, for example, Floyd Mayweather often stays on his back foot to create distance, bait opponents, and also counterpunch. And then you got people who are like Canelo Alvarez, who's really heavy front. He's heavy on the front. Uses his head movement, has a high guard, and is just marching forward. So general protocol, right? If you're right hand dominant, you're going to be an orthodox stance. So if you're right-handed, your left foot is going to be in the front, and your right foot is going to be on the back. If you're southpaw, it's vice versa, right? If you're left hand dominant, your left foot is going to be in the back, and your right foot's going to be forward. So figure out what that is, and also I'd recommend once you figure what your dominant stance is, just stick to that one for a while, get pretty good at it, and then you can start exploring, southpaw or orthodox. I do think it's important, especially down the line, that you understand how to move in both sides. So let's go over footwork. So movement is key in boxing. So stay light on your feet, always ready to strike or evade. So let's start you off with steps, okay? Step, don't hop. Hopping could throw you off balance and leave you vulnerable during exchanges. Yes, I know Soviet-style boxers may use controlled bouncing as part of the rhythm, but for beginners, stepping ensures stability and better control, okay? A lot of you guys, when you first start, you're going to have a hard time just maintaining that fight stance. So by you guys hopping all over the place, it's just going to dilute per hop. So it's just simple if you keep it step by step. So move the lead foot first when stepping forward or to the side. So quick run through, right? If you're moving forward, your front foot's going to move and your back foot follows. If you're moving backwards, your back foot's going to move first, and then your lead foot follows. If you're going to move to the left, right, your left foot's going to move first, and your right foot follows. If you're moving to the right, your right foot's going to move, and then your left foot follows. So what you're not doing is crossing your feet or getting too narrow, right? We want to maintain that solid stance, that solid base wherever we go. That way we're ready to defend, we're ready to throw punches that can actually do damage. Because again, if you guys are off balance or your feet are crossed, it's going to leave you open. And even if you had an opportunity for the KO, that shot's not going to land crisp. It's not going to do much. So basic footwork is really important. Don't neglect it. And I'll have another video that goes more into depth and that'll actually show you more footwork stuff. But again, this is just the fundamentals. Let's go on a quick run through. So here are the basic punches in boxings, right? And there's probably a couple more on here, but I just wanted to list these. So there's your jab, your cross, your hook, your uppercut, your overhand, your body shots, and your shovel hook. I don't even know why I threw that one in there, but little bonus punch, right? But all these punches are really important. They're super crucial. And the most important one, in my opinion, is going to be the jab, which is the most versatile punch. So the jab is really versatile. It's probably the punch that's going to help you set up your combinations. You don't want to just go straight in for the kill, right? You want to probe, test the waters first. So the jab's probably your safest bet. It's the punch it's the hand that's closest to your opponent. So it's a great way to set up your combos. It's also a great way to find your range, right? I constantly use my jab. I'm kind of throwing it out there because I'm gauging how much distance I have between me and my opponent. And I'm constantly getting feedback too, right? I'm seeing if he's paying attention to my jab. Is he dropping his guard? Is he trying to parry? Is he trying to block it? Is he trying to counter? You can get a lot of information by just throwing out that jab. Also, it's great for disrupting, right? It's annoying when you have an opponent who throws a lot of jabs because it just doesn't allow you to throw the combination you're trying to throw. It's just like you're constantly being dealt with a brick wall in your face. It's annoying. So it's a great way to disrupt. Also, it doubles up as an offensive and defensive tool. So again, you can use it offensively to set up combinations, and you can also use it defensively. You know, if you need to, let's say, move out the corner, or if you need to pull back, or after you're done throwing a combination, you don't want to go out empty-handed. You want to fire and move at the same time. Jab is great for that. Also, it helps maintain ring control and positioning. So again, if you have a good jab and it's annoying and it gets respected, you can use it to move people around because it's just annoying. So people are going to try to find a way to work around it, and you can use that to your advantage to move them around, control the ring, create your dominance in the ring with your jab. And also it can quantify. So the jab isn't just a straight punch, right? It can be thrown in so many different ways. You can use it for feints, right, which are fake attacks. You can use level changes with your jabs. You can throw your jab from an upward position. You can throw power jabs, speed jabs, light jabs, even lag jabs. Such a versatile punch. So I highly recommend it. This punch literally orchestrates everything in the ring. Orchestrates your combinations, the tone, everything. So I'd recommend you get really good at the jab. Okay, practice your jab. I cannot stress that more. Okay, guys. Now moving on to the cross. A powerful straight punch thrown with your rear hand. One of the hardest hitting punches in boxing. Probably accounts for the most knockouts. Best used after setting up with the jab or a feint. Again, jab, really important. The way you throw it, you're transferring your body weight from the back to the front, right? Since it's a rear dominant punch, the power is going to start from the back and then spring, transferring over to the front foot. You can target the head, the body for devastating results. And it's also a key punch for finishing combinations. So when we throw combinations in boxing, we don't want to throw 100% each shot, right? we want to finesse the punch or the combination so that we build up to it, right? So it's like light power, medium, medium, and the final blow is a bang, which can be your cross, which is great for finishing your combination. So that's your cross right there. Next is the hook, right? Also very, very common, a powerful punch thrown with a horizontal arc or 90 degrees. Can be delivered with your lead hand or your rear hand. Targets the side of the opponent's head or body. Generates power from the hip and shoulder rotation. Again, the power usually starts from the lead foot since it's a lead dominant punch, lead hand dominant. It's also devastating when thrown from close to mid range. Great for catching opponents off guard around their guard. So a lot of people have their guard here, but sometimes they have holes on the side, right? They have side doors. And if you throw the hook at the right angle, it can go through the guard. It's also great for breaking down your opponent's guard. So some people might have a strong guard, right? But after one or two hooks, it's going to disintegrate their guard and create more openings for you. So the hook is really good. It's honestly one of my favorite punches. And I'll make another video for this one specifically down the line. Next is the uppercut. Also another really commonly used punch, a vertical punch thrown upward. So the uppercut comes from the bottom up, right? Targets the opponent's chin, jaw, or solar plex. Most effective at close range. Generates power from the legs, hips, and torso rotation. Great for breaking through your opponent's high guard. Can be thrown with either lead or rear hand. Useful for counters, especially when your opponent leans forward or he's just chasing you. Devastating when set up after body shots or feints. So, again, the uppercut, a lot of people just don't know how to utilize it. In my opinion, it's one of my favorite punches to throw, especially when you're inside or if you're fighting somebody who likes to go inside, right, and you are a counter puncher. A lot of times people have their guard up, and that uppercut can just go right up through the guard, split open, pops their head up, and then it gives you an opening to set up another combination or a KO shot. So practice your uppercuts, guys. Now, some other punches. And also, I forgot to mention, so each of these punches, right, like the uppercut, it can be thrown with your lead hand or your rear hand. And same goes for the hook as well. So other punches, there's your overhand, right? Classic Street Fighter haymaker overhand. Super overpowered, but again, you got to set it up correctly because it has a lot of telegraph behind it. But again, if you set it up neatly with the jab or a combination, it can make contact. It's also actually a really good punch to throw if someone's, for example, throwing a jab. A lot of times it can go up and over the jab, and you can clip somebody with it. It's also great if you're a short fighter, right, and you're fighting against someone who's just taller than you. That overhand, man, a lot of tall guys forget about that when they're fighting shorter fighters. Shorter fighter it's harder for you guys to reach up there. So the overhand is just suited for you guys, and you guys generate a lot of power using the overhand. And a lot of tall guys, when they punch, they're punching downward, so they have to also bring their hand back to their defense, which takes maybe a little longer. So if you set it up right, you can knock out bigger, taller guys with an overhand. Also, there's the body shot, which is a class of punches. It's not necessarily a punch, but body shots are underlooked. It opens up also a lot of opportunities. If you punch someone in the stomach and the solar plex and the liver, it's going to have a physiological response. It's going to hurt. So you start conditioning your opponent to start dropping their guard, which leaves you openings for the head. So don't overlook body shots. Don't just always be head hunting. And then also your shovel hook, which literally is what it sounds like, right? When you shovel, right, it's not, you kind of go down. It's like a shovel. Well, a shovel uppercut is going upwards. So it's kind of like a hybrid between a hook, uppercut, and a jab. I personally love this one because it's a great way to pop the head up. Sets you up for more combinations. Sets up that right hand. Okay, now let's go over basic defense. Okay, basic defense. So your guard, right? Guard, hands up, elbows in. There's different types of guard. Generally, you'd want to have it right here by your chin. And then there's your high guard, which is going to be like your binoculars. But that's just general, right? Then you got your slipping, which is rotating your shoulders and torso to avoid punches. It keeps your head off center line. Also, rolling. That's rolling under, right? Those are great that's a good defense to use against hooks. But it does take a good, you have to be physically fit to roll pretty good. And also timing is behind that as well. You just don't want to roll blindly because you could set yourself up in a bad position. Also blocking. So blocking, you can pretty much block with anything, right? You can block with your shoulders. You can block with your hands, which is called like parrying. You can block, you can deflect with your forearms, or you can just take the shots by blocking. But blocking isn't just like one set tone, right? It's constantly morphing, adapting to the shots that are incoming. Now let's go over types of guards, right? There's your long guard. There's a bunch of different guards, but some notable ones are going to be your long guard, which is great if you're a tall guy, you got lanky arms. Someone to look into is Tyson Fury or George Foreman. Did a great job using the long guard. Also, there's your high guard. A lot of Mexican-style boxers use the high guard. A notable one is Canelo Alvarez. Go ahead and check out his fights. You'll see it live in action. And then there's the Philly shell, which pretty much is like owned by Floyd Mayweather. This guy went 50-0 using the Philly shell. It's a great way to deflect, set up counters. It's honestly kind of one of my favorite guards because I'm a counter puncher myself. And yeah, there's different types of guard styles, but I'd recommend just start off with the basic one. Hands up here, work a little bit of your slips, work a little bit of feints, and later down the line, start experimenting with these different types of guards. Next, let's go over conditioning and drills. So obviously to be a boxer, whether you're doing it for fitness or self-defense or competitively, you got to do some conditioning. So here are some conditioning things you can do. So number one is jump rope. Builds footwork, speed, rhythm, conditioning. So I cannot stress how important it is that you jump rope, right? This should be like a day-to-day benchmark for you guys. I use it to warm up or to cool down in my sessions. Gets you light on your feet and just teaches you rhythm and timing and balance and just gets the footwork strong. Also, shadow boxing in front of a mirror. This sharpens your technique, form, and movement. This is probably one of the most important things that you can do, especially when starting out. And even at the highest level, you got to be shadow boxing. It's a great way to like self-diagnose and to just get more comfortable with the technique you're throwing. So some of the biggest leaps I ever made in my progress in boxing was just shadow boxing in front of a mirror for like an hour with no music, nothing, just working my pivots, working my jab, working rhythm, looking myself in the mirror, making sure everything feels balanced, everything looks good. You can develop a lot of skill just off of shadow boxing. Next is heavy bag. So a heavy bag develops power, endurance, and punch conditioning. If you want a good workout and you want to just like bang shit up, the heavy bag is a great tool. Actually, a lot of old school boxers only used heavy bags to get ready for fights. They just shadow box, did heavy bag training, and sparring. Not a lot of them did mitt work back then, surprisingly, which you see a lot in today's day. Next is going to be mitt work and pad work. So this one's more modern, but you do need a partner, someone who knows how to hold mitts properly. But it's a great way to improve precision, and you can do combinations and timing drills. So the cool thing about pad work is that it's not like static. Your partner can move you around. He can throw counters at you, and it just makes things more. it simulates more of a real fight, but again, it has to be a good pad holder. So I'd recommend you do that if you have the option. Also, core training increases stability and rotational power. So every punch you throw is being thrown from a rotational standpoint. So you got to work that rotational power. And I'll go over a couple exercises, but something you can do is like medicine ball training, work your abs, work unilateral type of exercises. I might have to make another video just on this specifically, but let's go ahead and move on. Next is going to be sprint intervals, boost explosive cardio, and fight endurance. So a lot of people overlook sprints as well, right? You in a fight, especially in a boxing fight, there's going to be ebbs and flows where it's flowing, and then it's very aggressive. So the sprints will condition you. It'll condition your body in order to have that high output and just get you used to what that feels like. Also, medicine ball slams, same thing with power, right? It enhances power and hand-eye coordination. I don't know why I put hand-eye coordination, but it does enhance your power. Let me get rid of this. It does enhance your power, whether you're throwing it rotationally or just up and down. It's great also for your conditioning. If you haven't tried it out, try it out. Next is agility ladders. So you can do all kinds of footwork drills. I believe I have a video on my YouTube that goes over a couple footwork drills you can do, but improves your footwork speed and coordination. So I'd recommend that. It's really easy. You can go to your local store and buy a ladder, and you can do all kinds of exercises with it, which honestly, I'll make another video that covers a whole list of things you can do with that. Also, neck bridges, banded neck exercises, builds a strong neck for punch resistance. So if you have a pencil neck, you're going to get hurt. So you want a strong neck because this is the thing that attaches your head, right? So you want to be able to take shots. And if you have a robust, strong neck, then you're going to feel a lot less of that. You're going to just feel a lot less of that punch when you get hit. And also, you're going to probably have less CTE, I'd imagine. So build a strong neck. Again, I'd probably have to make another video for this specifically. All kinds of neck exercises you can do. Next, let's go over weightlifting. So here are some foundational lifts, and this is just great for overall physical health and strength. So number one, let's go with deadlifts. Builds total body strength and posterior chain power. Then squats, you can do back squats, front squats, or Zercher squats, depending on how you're built. For example, I do a lot of Zercher squats because lower back squats, my back doesn't enjoy them. But I can do Zerchers all day and still get fantastic workout. Also your overhead press, which develops shoulder stability and punching power. And also bench press helps with your upper body and strength. Now, there's a list of other things, right, that you can do, but this is going to help you build your strength. But if you want something more versatile, you can do stuff like I'd recommend you do pull-ups, you do lunges, you do dips. You don't want to go too crazy, especially like on the bench press. You don't want to be like this, like a bodybuilder, right? It's gonna slow your punches down. So if you do train bench press, make sure you're training it like an athlete. So stay explosive on your lifts. That way it translates over to your boxing. Now, common mistakes beginners should avoid. So number one is going to be crossing your feet while moving, dropping your hands after your punches, overcommitting your punches, flat feet and heavy stance, lack of head movement and rhythm, holding your breath, you got to breathe, neglecting defense, and ignoring footwork, right? These kind of go hand in hand, the footwork and defense. So when you're starting off, try to keep these in mind. Okay, keep these things in mind. Now, let's go over sparring. So let's say you did a pretty decent job at learning the fundamentals. You've been doing it for like maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month or so. and you feel like it's time to spar. Now, you start to spar once you spent hours refining the stance, your guard, your fundamental punches. It's important to start sparring. Sparring provides a real-time context for how to apply your punches and footwork. It also helps you develop attributes that can't be trained on a heavy bag or through shadow boxing, such as timing, reactions, feints, and counters. Through sparring, you'll become a much more complete and well-rounded striker. So there's some things you can't learn from doing, like from hitting a bag, for example. The bag doesn't hit back, so you don't have a concept of timing and range. And also like things like your hand-eye coordination, that all gets developed when you spar. Now, obviously, when you spar, you don't want to go crazy, which we're going to go into sparring etiquette. So sparring isn't about winning. There are no winners or losers in sparring. It's a training tool to help you improve your skill, try out new techniques, and experiment with what you've been learning. Never aim to knock out your partner or throw full power shots. Sparring should be challenging, but it also must be safe. Look out for each other and keep your goal focused on growth and development. So again, sparring etiquette. When you are sparring somebody, you don't want to go balls to the walls, right? Because it makes it counterproductive. You know, when both parties are hesitant and nervous, people are going to get hurt, and you're not going to be able to work on things you've been trying to work on, things you've been training on. So when you're sparring, you know, it's good to pick up the pace, but you know, if you want to go hard on the body, go hard on the body, but don't go hard on your partner's head. You know, we don't want CTE just from sparring. You know, your brain is really important, and it doesn't recover the same as the rest of your body. So keep it respectful. I'd say like 70% power, even less if you can control it. But sometimes you do got to step it up, especially if your partner's going 100%. You got to fight for yourself too. So keep that in mind. Don't let people walk over you. So for sparring, you want to wear 16-ounce gloves. You obviously want a mouth guard because you don't want to break your teeth. You want some headgear. That's optional. I personally don't like sparring with headgear because I feel like I get hit more, and it blocks my vision. However, it does prevent like cuts, especially if you're going hard with hard sparring. And then there's also a hand wrap. So you want to have your hands nice and safe. You don't want to break one of your knuckles or bruise them. So it's really important you have your hand wraps on. And let's see what else. Oops. And that's it, guys. So boxing training goes far beyond just hitting a bag. To become a complete fighter, you need structured workouts that improve your power, speed, endurance, technique, and overall athleticism. Whether you're training for competition, fitness, or self-improvement, integrating strength work, footwork, drills, and smart conditioning is key. So if you feel like you learned quite some things and you're still curious and maybe you want some more expert advice and you're ready to take it to the next level, I'm available. Let's build a tailored plan to your goals no matter where you are. If you'd like, you can book a free call with me today. Just click on the link below and we can go and get started. So I can do things like give you a routine for your boxing or your fitness goals, or if you just simply want me to analyze your mechanics for boxing, your technique, I'm also readily available for that as well. Just go ahead and book the link in the description, and we'll go ahead and hop on a call, and we can make something happen. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you for taking the time. Feel free to like this video, hit that subscribe button if you want more content. Also, feel free to leave a comment if you found anything useful, or if you'd just like to add your own input to things. And share this to a friend or family that doesn't have an understanding of boxing fundamentals, and hopefully this can help them out. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Coach Migo checking out. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.